Yo, so what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and today we are going to be going back to our roots a little and doing a career resimulation here. And with him finally deciding to hang it up, it's going to be of Isaiah Thomas, IT. Obviously, he had some fantastic years on the Celtics, where he was just a guy that you had to love, in all honesty. So let's go ahead and put him into the 2021 NBA draft class and see, number one, where he actually would have gotten drafted in this draft class and kind of how his career will play out. If you're a new, be sure to smash that subscribe button for your boy and hit the like button. Comment down below if there's any new people that you guys want me to do. So we hop into the draft class here. We're at number 6, and you see Isaiah Thomas. He definitely was the last pick in his NBA draft class, but he actually ends up going number 19 overall here to the Utah Jazz. And as you can see in year 1 here, they actually have him slated as their starter because they don't have any great point guards in real life. So that's going to be definitely interesting to see Isaiah Thomas alongside Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, and of course Rudy Gobert. Definitely an interesting team. 22-year-old Isaiah Thomas, of course, stayed 4 years in college with Washington. So let's get into it and see exactly how his career goes. I think it's going to be a very interesting one. And we're working with about a 3-star system proficiency going into it all. So in year 1 of IT's career, Luka Doncic ends up getting regular season MVP. And let's check out who actually got Rookie of the Year. It's actually Evan Mobley that gets it with the Thunder. But checking out the all-NBA teams, we check out the all-rookie first team. And Isaiah Thomas is right there amongst the best of the class in Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley. As you can see, somehow this Jazz team does not make playoffs, but a fantastic rookie season, to say the very least, from IT at 23 years old, putting up 19.1 a game with solid assist numbers and solid steals numbers. In the finals here, we have the Atlanta Hawks up against the Lakers, and the Atlanta Hawks actually end up taking it with Trae Young getting finals MVP, moving us into the second year here, where hopefully our team can actually make a little bit of a run towards the playoffs. Isaiah Thomas already the 5th highest overall on the team at 23 years old here. 78 overall, of course, 5'9", starting to get some of his badges in a 1 shooting badge and 1 finishing badge. And you see what our rotations are looking like here. We are just probably looking very solid. Honestly, we could get a little improvement in our wing positions, but maybe we'll still be able to make playoffs. Trae Young does get a regular season MVP here. Check getting Rookie of the Year. And we unfortunately missed playoffs with 34 wins. Definitely could have done a lot better. But looking at the player stats from this season, Donovan Mitchell going crazy with 30.4 a game. Isaiah Thomas putting up 17.8 points per game and 6.3 assists a game. So another great year. And some more progression from him, already up to an 80 overall here. In the finals, you see we get Luka Doncic and the Mavs up against Jimmy Butler in the Heat. And Jimmy Butler gets finals MVP and finally secures himself that ring that he's been chasing all of these years. That has to be a pretty feel-good moment there. As we move into year 3 here, where Isaiah Thomas, now the 4th highest overall on the team, somehow went down from an 80 that he was at the end of last season back to a 79, but it is what it is. Trae Young gets yet another regular season MVP here, putting up about 30 points per game and almost 15 assists a game. Thankfully, we do finally make the playoffs here, with Isaiah Thomas elevating his scoring even further, up to 22 points per game and 8.3 assists per game. Going crazy, and probably one of the higher scoring point guards in the league, actually coming in at number 8, honestly, which is huge for the guy that went 19th overall in this draft class. First round matchup, we do come in as the 8th seed, and we're going to be up against the number 1 seeded Minnesota Timberwolves that have a pretty good squad here. Somehow we get up on them early 2-0, and we're actually up 3-1, making it a ball game. They fight back from the 3-1 deficit, and we're going to Game 7, where it could be go big or go home here. Can us, as the 8th seed, upset the T-Wolves? And despite it being a fairly close game, we cannot, unfortunately. Cat doing his thing. Isaiah Thomas dropping 25 points, 5 assists, and a steal in that game, trying to get it done for us, but unfortunately it was not meant to be. We actually put up the most competitive fight against all these teams against the Timberwolves on their way to the championship, including the finals game up against the Hawks. So that has to be something to look forward to and to look positively at as we move into year 4 here. Looking at Isaiah Thomas at an 82 overall, and we add a nice little wing player there in Tim Hardaway Jr. on the season. As you can see, Nikola Jokic actually getting an MVP there. And somehow we regress from the playoffs to a 20-win team on the season. Isaiah Thomas still dropping 22.1 a game and 7.4 assists per game, right behind Donovan Mitchell. But we're going to have to watch the finals from the sidelines, where the Memphis Grizzlies are going up against the Magic. Two teams I wouldn't expect to see in the championship so fast. But Ja Morant clutches up and gets the city of Memphis an NBA championship as we move into year 5. And in taking a look at this Jazz team, I do not see Isaiah Thomas at all. So, of course, we're going to see where he decides to end up going in free agency. And that's going to be the Philadelphia 76ers, where apparently they're willing to move Ben to the power forward to have Isaiah Thomas in the starting lineup alongside Joel Embiid and Mikal Bridges. This is going to be an interesting team here, and an interesting maybe playoff run in all honesty, signing a 4-year contract here at the age of 26. Not too bad, starting to get some more shooting badges, finishing badges, playmaking badges, and even a defensive badge going forward here, now at an 85 overall. Let's get into it. Luka gets another MVP season here. And how do our Sixers do? We only pick up 34 wins. So not too much of an improvement from the Jazz in all honesty. Isaiah Thomas putting up a little bit less scoring numbers this year, putting up 18.2 points per game. Yet again, watching the NBA championship from the sidelines. As you can see, Thunder versus the Bucks here. Thunder actually getting their rebuild pretty fast in all honesty, as they end up taking it in 5 there. J.D. Davidson getting Finals MVP. And as you can see, Isaiah Thomas now up to an 88 overall at 27 years old, surpassing Embiid now at 32 in overall. Second highest overall on the team behind Ben Simmons, of course. Still running with Ben at the power forward. Luka Doncic gets yet another MVP season here. And our Philadelphia 76ers thankfully do get back in the playoffs, as this time the number 4 seed. Isaiah Thomas leading the team in scoring this year with 20.8 points per game. And it's definitely looking good, kind of leading the team in minutes as well. Being that number 1 option for us maybe in all reality heading into the playoffs. So first round here, we have a matchup up against the Magic. We find ourselves up 3-2, and unfortunately we go to a game 7 and we end up choking despite a 26 and 11 assist game from Isaiah Thomas. There was still not enough. We end up seeing the Pelicans versus the Knicks here in the NBA championship, and it's been a while since the Knicks have had an opportunity to win a championship. They go up 3-0 here, but the Knicks are going to nick, letting up 4 straight games for Emoni Bates to get a Finals MVP with the Pelicans. And heading into another year here, Isaiah Thomas doing his thing. Highest overall on the team and now at this point. Luka Doncic getting another MVP season here. And Lawrence Irving getting a Rookie of the Year for the Celtics here. Was pretty good stat line in all honesty. Looking at the All-NBA teams here, the interesting thing to point out here is Isaiah Thomas actually made the All-NBA second team here, making his first All-Star appearance in general on the year, helping lead the Sixers team to the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, as Isaiah Thomas drops 26.2 points per game and almost a double-double with 9.9 assists per game. As you can see, 90 overall, offensive threat, doing his thing to say the very least here. Chilling at, I believe, 28 years old, which is not bad at all. Starting to get into the real prime of his career in these next couple seasons. And yet again, we're going to have a first-round matchup up against the Magic, who unfortunately did beat us in 7 last year. And it looks like we're going to go to 7 again, as Isaiah Thomas pushed us to 7 with this big game here. 34, 3, and 11, and 3 steals from the 5'9" point guard. So let's hope that we have some luck here in Game 7 and can push out into the second round. Heading into Simcast here to see exactly how it plays out. It's looking pretty good for us so far, and we do end up taking it by about 21 points. Isaiah Thomas dropping 30 points and 16 assists with another 3 steals to go along with that, getting us to the second round here, up against the Bulls, led by Aaron Gordon and Cade Cunningham, the number 2 seed, and it's not looking great for us as we actually get swept by them 4-0. So it was nice to win a playoff series, but we couldn't get it done despite a 35-point game there from IT in Game 4. But we're going to be watching from the sidelines yet again as the Lakers defeat the Heat and get another NBA championship here. Moving us into year 8 here. Isaiah Thomas still chilling at a 90 overall. 1 year left on his contract here at 29 years old with the Sixers. So we'll see if he ends up renewing his contract here or going somewhere else. Looking at the standings here, we just missed playoffs. Same amount of wins as the 8 seed, but we do not get in. Isaiah Thomas leading the team in scoring, now 30 years old here, and now two-time NBA All-Star as well, 21.1 points per game. Finals here, we get Trae Young and the Hawks up against the Utah Jazz, led by Zion, and they do win an NBA championship. Moving into year 9 here, it looks like Zion actually decided to ditch the Jazz team he just won a championship with and join up with our Sixers team that no longer have Ben or Joel. So I'm assuming some moves were made in the offseason. Definitely kind of interesting to see another young superstar around him, because obviously Embiid was already on the decline when we got here. Isaiah Thomas making another NBA all-second team, which is huge. Coming in the 4th seed with 51 wins on the season, not too shabby. And checking out how this duo actually did statistically pretty good off of each other. His assist numbers, ITs, went up a lot, now at 13.2 a game, and still getting over 20 points per game, able to feed the ball to Zion even more, working with about a 4-star system proficiency here, and we're going to be up against a team that 4-0'd us last time we were in the playoffs, the Chicago Bulls here in the first round. We're coming in as the number 4 seed, and they're coming in as the 5 seed, and we actually find ourselves down 3-1 in the series. We get a game back, but unfortunately we get bounced in 6, which is tragic here to this Bulls team. You hate to see it, but Karl-Anthony Towns does his thing. Isaiah Thomas drops 28 with 11 assists as well. The Thunder and the Bulls are going to be matching up here in the finals, where Chicago does fight back, and they actually come back from a 3-1 deficit. So another time here where we get bounced early by a team that goes on to win it all, which is a tragic scene. Here in year 10, we do not longer have any Zion on our team, so we're going to be working without him on the season. Isaiah Thomas still taking the number 1 scoring position even without him here, and we do make playoffs as we go to a Game 7 here against the Pacers in the first round, where we hop into Simcast, and it's not looking great. Another Game 7 in the first round, and another loss for this team against our former teammate Zion Williamson. So we're heading into year 11 here, where IT is at an 88 overall, and our big man is actually the highest overall on our team now, as he is progressing like crazy now at an 89 overall. Want to point this out, Bronny James in the league, getting an MVP here for the Jazz, doing his thing. Looking at the league standings, we do end up the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, so yet again, a very good regular season. Hopefully, we can carry into the playoffs a double-double season for IT with 20 points per game and about 10 assists per game as well. Now we have another first round matchup here up against the Nets, and yet again we go to a Game 7. Let's hope we have some more luck here, and it's looking good for us as we end up taking it 146-138. Isaiah Thomas dropping 21 in that big Game 7 victory. That finally gets us out of the first round in, it feels like, a very long time. Second round here, we're going to be up against the number 1 seeded Charlotte Hornets with Amani Bates. Of course, we saw him put in some work earlier in the sim. We find ourselves down 2-0, now 3-0 to them. We do get some games back here. Finding ourselves now down, battling back 2 games, 3-2. Hopefully we can win this game here and push it to a potential Game 7, and we crumble in the 4th quarter. Isaiah Thomas only dropping 30 in that game, and we get bounced in the second round by the number 1 seed. Moving us into year 12 here. Team very similar. Hopefully we can have some luck, and we do indeed miss playoffs. 32-50 on the season. Not where you want to be by any means. Isaiah Thomas' scoring numbers starting to come down a bit. Now at 34 years old, about 18 points per game. Moving us into year 13, because obviously those playoffs had no implications for us. Still the highest overall on the team, Isaiah Thomas, 34 years old. 85 overall, getting about 32 minutes a game still. Now a 5-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA second-team member as well. Hopefully we have some luck here in the playoffs. And yet again, another pretty tragic season, only picking up one more win than last year, 31-51. Some guy named Dwight Duncan coming on the team and leading us in scoring, moving us into year 14. Now 20-34 here with Isaiah Thomas's career, down to an 83 overall now. So soon enough, he's going to be a bench piece, but for the time being, he's still starting. We do not do well at all, picking up a whopping 13 wins on the season. Isaiah Thomas putting up just about 14 a game. Looking through those some of the guys dipping out of the league, you see Trae Young, Luka, Giannis all retiring and making the Hall of Fame. You see Isaiah Thomas now at an 80 overall at our starting point guard position. And we're kind of getting carried by our center here, who's definitely our best player at this point. in the sim. We do make playoffs here as the number 6 seed, which is something that feels good after some pretty bad years there. Our center absolutely going off there with 24 and 12 a game. Isaiah Thomas putting up about 13 and 7, which is still not bad for a 37-year-old by any means. He's still actually starting and getting 27 minutes a game at 37 too, which is pretty impressive for most people. Obviously, somebody like LeBron's timeless, but pretty great for a guy like Isaiah Thomas, to say the very least. First round here, we're up against the Knicks here in the first round, battling against them, up 3-2, and we actually, thankfully, do not have to go to a Game 7 as we take it in 6. Our big doing a lot of the work there. Isaiah Thomas dropping 13 and 6, which we will take. Second round here up against the Chicago Bulls, who have given us a little bit of trouble in this sim. So hopefully we have some better luck here, boys. Finding ourselves up 3-1 and actually taking it in 5. Huge W there. Isaiah Thomas, again, not having to do too much, 8 and 8. Our big man doing a lot of the workload here. Eastern Conference Finals up against the Charlotte Hornets. They did knock us out before, and it's going to be a battle yet again. Finding ourselves in another Game 7 situation. Hopefully we can clutch up here and make it to the NBA Finals and get Isaiah Thomas potentially a ring in this sim. And it's back and forth. And with about 41 seconds left, it is a 5-point game. And we're going to hop into the sim and see if there's anything kind of crazy that's going on. If it goes to a last-minute thing, any of that good stuff. So we hop in, as you can see, 41 seconds left. Pretty even game here. And the Sixers have the ball down low. Our big does indeed get us a bucket, making it 132-125. And ultimately, after a lot of fouling later, since we were up 7, we're still up 7. Isaiah Thomas holding the ball to the end of the game here. Win or go home game, and we do end up winning. We will be going to the NBA Championship. Isaiah Thomas potentially could get his first ring of this sim here. I very much hope so, of course, after all these years of being loyal to Philadelphia and grinding it out here. So, as you can see, Eastern Conference champion, Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to be in the finals here up against the Warriors. We have an interesting team, so let's see what happens here. We hop into the sim. We find ourselves down 2-0, 3-0, and it's not looking good. We're going to hop into Simcast and see if we can maybe fight our way back a little bit. Back and forth a little early on, and they start pulling away like crazy on us. We end up losing by 4 there, 119-115. Bobby Hines getting Finals MVP here for the Warriors. Moving us into year 16 now. Isaiah Thomas chilling at 37 years old. Will be 38 by the end of the season. Still 5-time All-Star doing his thing. Now finally coming off the bench. So hopefully that role will suit him a little bit better. 25 minutes off the bench, 77 overall point guard. We do indeed make playoffs here with about 48 wins on the season. Our center carrying a lot of the load. Still 9.4 and 5 off the bench for IT at this point. So let's hope for a similar year to last year with an even better outcome for us. Let's get into it. See who our first round matchup is and what is going on. So first round up against the Hornets that we did go to Game 7 with last year here in the first round. They're the 3 seed. We are the 6 seed. And let's hope our team comes together for some big games here. Finding ourselves up 3-1 and taking it in 5, 4-1 over this Hornet squad. Huge game for our center, putting up 38 and 26. Almost unheard of stat line there. But we will definitely take it. Second round here up against the Atlanta Hawks, the number 2 seed. Yet again, we're coming in as a pretty big dog, going to Game 7 here. And we have not had the best of luck in Game 7s, but it's looking good for us here as we end up taking it by 24 points there. Yet again, our big man popping off 35 and 15. Isaiah Thomas, though, coming off the bench with a 26-piece. We will take that, to say the very least. Eastern Conference Finals here up against the number 1 seed from the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets. They get up early on us 2-0, but we have a lot of fight in us. We get 2 straight back to tie up the series. Heading into the Simcast here, hopefully we can get up a game here, boys, because that would be absolutely huge. Let's see what we could do here. Back and forth early on, and we end up taking it by a pretty good margin there, in all honesty. Isaiah Thomas not even having to do all that much for us, not even putting up a bucket in that game, but just getting some assists out. So we find ourselves up a game here, hopping in the Simcast again. Hopefully we can take it home here, but it's not looking great. And it looks like it's going to Game 7 here, baby, in an all-out battle. Big Game 7 here in the Eastern Conference Finals here. Sixers up against the Nets. and it was a battle to the very end, 136 to 131. Isaiah Thomas dropping 10 points and 6 assists in that game. Big man dropping 40 points and 21 rebounds. Going to the NBA Finals here, up against the Memphis Grizzlies, up 2-0. Make that 3-0, and we hop in the Simcast as we are up 123 to 114. Isaiah Thomas letting the ball get dribbled out to the shot clock is over. The game clock is over. Isaiah Thomas gets himself his NBA championship here in year 16, year 17, something like that. It took him a long time, but we did get it for him. Now it is 77 overall, 38 years old. IT finally did it, boys. Having a pretty good career here where he's put up some fantastic numbers, and all that we needed left for him was a ring. And I guess it came with him getting a little bit older and coming out of that sixth man position. Looking at the box score from that one, let's take a look where we clutched up and 4-0 swept the Grizzlies. So looking at the Grizzlies side, nothing too crazy. Big man put up 38 and 17 for us there, and IT just put up 5 and 3 in the dub. Of course, our big man getting Finals MVP, moving us into year 17 here. No IT I don't see on the team, so maybe he got picked up by somebody, but he could just be a free agent that never gets picked up. And he's a 74 overall. I'll update you if he got picked up, which he did not, boys. So we're going into the player retirements and all that. I'm definitely assuming to see him here and call his career quits after a year of sitting in the free agency pool throughout the season. But at least we ended his career off with a bang, boys, with a big NBA championship for the guy. Looking at the player retirements, I do expect him to be in this list, and boom, there he is, of course. Fantastic career. Hall of Fame inductee alongside LaMelo, Zion, and Luka. You love to see it. Some pretty good stats on his career, too. 19 points per game, 8 assists per game. Pretty good. And even a retired jersey here. In real life, of course, the last pick in his draft. And this, the 19th overall pick. That's some great production. And, of course, we're going to look through his NBA records, as we always do. Just kind of show those to you guys here. And if you made it this far throughout the video, as always, comment GOAT, G-O-A-T, in all capitals below so I can show you some love in the comment section below, since you are a true Bean Squad supporter. If you haven't already, smash that like button and subscribe for your boy. I appreciate every single one of you. As always, Bean out. Have a fantastic day, boys.